Today, we're diving into the AI revolution that's sweeping through the business world. Companies are scrambling to adopt this technology faster than anything we've ever seen. But a new report uncovers a massive danger that's hiding in plain sight. For a lot of these companies, nobody is actually flying the plane. So let's just start with a number that shows you the sheer speed of what's happening. $3 billion. That's the new annualized revenue for Anthropic, the company behind the AI model Claude. Now, to put that into perspective, just a few months ago, that number was sitting around 1 billion. The growth is it's absolutely staggering. And that incredible breakneck speed, well, it forces us to ask the one question that really matters in all of this. With all this money, all this momentum, who is actually flying the plane? The answer, as you're about to see, is pretty unsettling. Okay, so first, let's just set the stage here. We need to talk about the context, which is AI's mind-blowing speed. This isn't some slow, gradual change. Nope. This is a full-throttle rocket launch. Now, everything we're looking at today comes from a major study by HFS Research and Altimetric. And they didn't just talk to a few people. They surveyed hundreds of execs at the world's biggest companies. And what they found is this really dangerous gap between how fast we're deploying AI and our ability to actually manage it. And that gap brings us right to the heart of the problem. For way too many companies, there is simply no one at the helm. I mean, the report basically shows that the AI rocket ship has launched, but it's completely unmanned and has no flight plan. Get this. An incredible 86% of companies they surveyed are just pouring money and resources into AI without a clear, defined strategy. We're talking about the vast majority here. It's kind of like building this incredibly powerful rocket engine without having any idea where you're trying to go. And, it gets even worse. For that tiny 14% of companies that do have some kind of strategy, only 6% of those are actually being led from the top by the CEO. In 94% of cases, nobody's really sure who's in charge. So this isn't just about not having a map, it's about not having a captain. This quote from Altimetric CEO Raj Sundaresan just nails the danger here. He says that when you scale AI without building the brakes and steering wheel of accountability, well, you're not expanding intelligence, you're just expanding risk. Now, the report actually has a name for this dangerous disconnect, and it's a concept that's really important to get your head around. They call it the AI velocity gap. Okay, so think of it like this. On one side, you've got the speed of the technology itself, which is just permanently stuck on fast forward. And then on the other side, you've got the speed of human governance, our rules, our strategies, our accountability, and that is stuck in slow motion. That gap between the two, that's the danger zone. So the formal definition from the report is that it's this widening distance between how fast we roll out AI and how fast we update our human systems to actually manage it. And here's the crucial part. The faster the technology moves, the wider and more dangerous that gap becomes. So what does this gap actually create in the real world? Well, it creates a crisis of accountability. I want you to think of these next few data points as a bunch of warning lights flashing on the dashboard. This is the real human cost of that velocity gap. First off, just think about the impact on people. More than half of all employees believe that AI is being brought in for one reason and one reason only, to replace them. And this isn't just a small concern, it's a deep anxiety that's spreading through the entire workforce. And you know what's fueling that fear? This right here. A full 80% of companies admit that when their AI systems mess up, it's completely unclear who's actually accountable. No one knows who's responsible. And of course, that lack of clarity trickles right down to the people on the ground. Nearly 3/4 of employees are terrified that if an AI project they're working on fails, they're the ones who are going to take the blame. That kind of environment doesn't create innovation. It builds a culture of fear. Phil First from HFS Research has a really sharp way of putting it. He says, when leaders don't define who's responsible, it's not augmenting your workforce with AI. As the quote says, that's not augmentation, that's abdication. You're just giving up your responsibility. Okay, so I know this all sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. The report doesn't just point out the problem, it actually shows a clear way forward. There is a way to grab the controls of this ship, and believe it or not, it's surprisingly human. You see, the solution they lay out is actually, well, it's beautifully simple. The way to master this incredibly complex technology doesn't start with writing more code or building bigger models. No, it starts with better, more focused, and more accountable human leadership. So, where does a leader even begin? Well, the report says the very first step isn't technical at all. It's all about communication. Leaders have to get out there and directly address the anxiety that their employees are feeling. And right after that, they need to define crystal clear roles and responsibilities. Who is in charge of what? Who makes the final call? And for the companies that actually get this human side of AI right, the ones that reach what the report calls AI maturity, the rewards are huge and very real. We're talking double-digit revenue growth for over 40% of them, massive improvements in customer experience for almost 90%, and a 25% jump in just how fast they get things done. But here's the kicker. As of right now, only 13% of companies have actually reached that mature stage. So what that means is solving this leadership problem isn't just about lowering your risk, it's about grabbing a massive competitive advantage that nearly 90% of your competitors are totally missing out on. So we're going to end right back where we started, with that same critical question, but this time it's for you. As this AI rocket ship keeps accelerating inside your own organization, creating unmanaged risk and a culture of fear, you have to ask yourself, and you have to ask your leaders, who is actually at the helm?